just wanted to say that in the discussions I had with people working the carbon measurement, they were noting that the EU is just passing, so that they are changing on this. Obviously, the trade, they want to know carbon inclusion for trade purposes, so that their policies, and they may start imposing on the world carbon measurements. So the stuff we're talking is in order that they see the carbon cost and stuff that's being traded. And I think laterally, the thing which is really interesting here, I want to have a conversation with SAP, but is the relationship to ERP, enterprise resource planning software, and measurement systems. So I think that business systems, particularly manufacturing, will start integrating this stuff as part of the data technology very shortly. So I think that there is signs of something quite revolutionary beginning to happen. I just want to make that comment about, in response to Paul's comments, that I've just heard the change is happening and will happen fast, I think.
Fantastic. Lucille or Brendan, anything that you want to share or before we close off?
No, except I would like to say publicly that Nola was a tremendous assistance in preparing the submission that we prepared. Unfortunately, we were not successful, but I really do want to acknowledge the incredible support that she gave.
Beautiful, well done.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yes, thanks, Ivan. My comment in regards to the audit for businesses around climate change, I think that's something that is really required. My sense is that the way that you make that a valuable tool is by incorporating the circular economy into it. And because the real kicker for business is when they can close the loop and utilize waste streams more effectively. Sure, measuring and monitoring is wonderful, but then engaging in practices which close the loop, I think makes that something which is real and tangible.
Yes, I agree.
So what I'm hearing, just to say it, so incorporating circularly, do the audit, which is great, identify where you are, and then take action in trying to close the gap. And one of those actions is identifying ways in which you can take advantage of the circular economy.
Yeah, well, I think the circular economy is the driver for the change, and therefore there's a reason for doing the monitoring. And then what that process does is that's what raises the awareness, because prior to that, in the beginning, everyone's completely unaware. Then you start talking about, you've got, what's your impact on climate change? Sure, you measure it, and then you look at activities which will close the loop, and that will drive the change, I think.
Yeah.
So Planet Arc in Australia is driving a circular economy business initiative, and we'd like to approach them and see if we can offer services. And one of the people behind that, who I'd like to invite to this forum potentially, is an extraordinary guy called David Ireland, who is a Fulbright scholar, genius. He runs a solar entity called Radian and a consultancy called The Growth Drivers. So that what you're saying, Brendan, is spot on. There are initiatives around that. So part of the audit, the circularity thing is central. And the other thing that everyone should be aware, the place where circularity, we're going to see it most seen, is in the food system that I was referring to before with OzHarvest, and Woolworths are pushing fast that there's a regen agriculture. So regenerative agriculture is really a subset of circularity, and the food system will move to this the fastest probably. And in France, you may be aware that in parts of Europe, there are requirements if you sell products that you actually include in the price, and the people selling them have to take responsibility for taking them back and recycling them. So this stuff is happening really rapidly globally.
There's food and construction, because the production of cement in itself is one of the largest emitters. So yes, agriculture and construction are two massive.
Agreed.
I would like to add, always, I will battle till my last breath that Indigenous people have a role in that circular economy. in that, in an expertise role, not as a tokenistic, but in an expertise role, because when it comes to things like food, the things that, because of climate change and heating up and the changing conditions and land, it has been identified by CSIRO and many experts around the world that the indigenous plants and animals are actually the best equipped to survive much more effectively than any introduced crops such as wheat and sheep and all the rest of it. So those that do have that insight into how to look after them best are actually the indigenous people of every country.
Yeah. Interesting.
Agreed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, lovely to have you on the forum. We'll meet again in 2 weeks' time, but hopefully I'll try and organize this Biennale meetup for next week, where I'll just invite the whole of the BBG network and all their friends and whatever to come and play if you're in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Good. Let's try do that. I've got something to work on.
Mm.
Have a very good week, and looking forward to catch up in 2 weeks' time. Please
Thanks.
diarize same time, 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thanks,
Thanks,
Arvin. Brilliant.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.